Welcome to In Conversation with MANWAR podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Do Not Be a Bystander campaign. You can join us in raising awareness about bullying by visiting the donotbeabystander.com, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming episodes. Today's participants are Shanza, Afza, and Faiza. Our special guest of today's episode is Rob Wells.
Welcome to our Bullying Awareness Podcast. I'm your host, Manwar Khan. Today, I'm joined by three young individuals who are ready to share their thoughts and insights on the topic of kindness. They all have the same goal: eliminating bullying in schools and communities. And this bullying is very much related to act of kindness, empathy, and responsibility. So today's topic is our conversation topic is act of kindness, and these young individuals are very passionate about addressing this issue and willing to empower others. And thank you so much for participating. And before we continue, I would like to introduce our special guest of today's podcast, Rob. Rob will shed some lights on topic of kindness and give some tips and advice to participants and our viewers. So I want to talk a little bit about Rob. Um, Rob Wells has lived in his all entire life in Alberta, a province with a record of violating the principles of equality and human rights. He works for justice through his activism work, usually as a lone protester, never doubting the power of one. This is a bio for Rob. I wanna add something that is not in the bio. Uh, if there is a protest going on, and if there is a media there, and if there is a picture on the newspaper, you will definitely see Rob with his signs there in Edmonton. So he's pretty famous guy here, and he's a very passionate about his activism work. Thank you, Rob, for taking your time out of your busy schedule and to join here to participate and empower the participants here. Really appreciate that.
Oh, I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much, Manwar.
Excellent. Now that we have introduced our participants and guests, let's get started with the question. So, act of kindness comes from sincere desire to bring positivity and make positive differences in someone's lives. It could be anybody, friend, relatives, even a stranger. So, my first question is for Afsa. Interesting. I always has Afsa's name first. Okay. How would you define act of kindness? And can you share a recent act of kindness that you have witnessed or experienced, Afsa?
So, I think act of kindness can be defined as being selfless or kind, or compassionate and caring about others. And I would like to share something because few days ago I actually sprained my leg and had to attend a school program. But the whole auditorium was filled and there were no seats left for me. A batchmate of mine, who I didn't even know that at that time, he gave his seat up for me because it was difficult for me to stand. And I really appreciate his kindness, and I'll always remember this. So I think it is important for us to show act of kindness because we also want people to treat us like that.
You're muted.
I think you're
Muted,
muted.
yeah.
So was I muted the whole time?
Yes.
Oh, I even sang a song. You guys missed it. All right. Sorry for that. Thank you so much, Afsar, for your answer. It's great. And now, my next question is for Faiza. Act of kindness are important for several reasons. So tell me, what, why do you think act of kindness are important?
Yes, acts of kindness are really important because we don't know what people are going through. They might be going through a very rough day, and us being kind to that person might help them fix their mood. And sometimes, let's just say there's this person who's usually rude, you know, doesn't behave well, doesn't talk properly with others. Us being kind could affect them in a good way, and they might start behaving well themselves.
All right. Excellent. Great answer. Thank you. Thank you, Faiza. So, my next question is for Shanza. There are countless creative ways, so many ways to show kindness towards people. I will ask you, give us or some example, some creative or unique ways to show kindness to others.
So I think, like, there are actually many ways to show kindness to others. So, like, that day my classmate, she forgot to bring her pencil bag, so she asked for a pen from me, and I of course shared it to her. That was one thing about kindness. And then if my teacher needed some help, then I would of course help her with it. If my mom needs any help, like that day she needed some help with the work she was doing, so I just went and helped her. And for example, yesterday my little cousin, she came to visit us, and she had some homework of hers, but she couldn't do it because she was confused, so I helped her. That was one type of kindness. Also, I think that, showing kindness to people is really important, because always treat others how you want to be treated.
Exactly. Wonderful answer. Great
Thank you.
example. And I wanted to add something, and for some reason I forgot. But that question was for Sansa. What was that? So, so yes, now I remember. So the act of kindness that you are giving, you gave the examples. Have you ever thought about exercising this for a stranger, the person you
Yeah,
love?
I did, and I like helped a lot of strangers as well. Like few weeks ago, I think a stranger, he was like, he had an accident, I think, and he lost his leg. So he was selling some kind of food, which I don't know what that is, but like he was selling one kind of food, and I actually had no money, but like he looked really hungry and all, but I guess he couldn't eat the food he was selling because he had to sell it to others and all. So he just came to me, and I was eating, like I was about to eat like a sandwich, so I just gave that to him. Yeah. So like, and I
Great,
did this kind of, yeah, many times.
excellent, excellent,
Thank you.
excellent. So yeah, that's the very important thing that we need to. We all need to practice like Shanza. I believe Hafza and Faiza, you guys do that too, right? All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your answer. Now, with the completion of this questioning, we will move on to our final segment of this podcast. I would like to invite our special guest, Rob, to share his thoughts on the topic of today's topic here and give some advice to our participants and viewers.
Well, I'm very impressed with the comments you made. I had made a few notes before, and Avsa, you mentioned compassion, and compassion is so important. You have to put yourself in the position of the other person and want to be treated the way you want to treat them the way you want to be treated. Shaza, you said the same thing, treating someone the way you want to be treated. That was very, very important. And I'm impressed with the insight that the young people have. I want to make a couple of points, though, that bullying starts not just in schools, in the community. Sources of community of bullying come from many, many places. And the first place is to start looking within our own hearts, our own bigotry, our own biases, sometimes our own hatred. And then it takes a lot of courage to start challenging that first within our own homes, our community, our schools, and our society around. And that takes a lot of courage. And I see a lot of courage from the youth here tonight. So God bless you all.
Thank you, Rob. Do you guys have any
Thank-
questions for Rob?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you for the advice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
thank you very
Excellent.
much.
So, we have come to the end of the podcast. As I promised, it won't take more than 20 minutes. I would like to thank our participants, Shanza, Hafsa, and Faiza. I also want to thank our special guest, Rob, here for taking out of your time. And I know how busy you are from your busy schedule and joining here to support this movement and inspiring these participants and empowering our viewers. That means a lot. So, thank you so much for listening to our today's podcast. Before we wrap up, I would like to remind our listeners that there are several resources available to help individuals dealing with bullying. The government of Alberta has a bullying helpline and that provides support and advice to those who are experiencing bullying. The helpline can be reached at 1-888-456-2323. Bullying is a violation of human rights. Under no circumstances is bullying acceptable. As a community, we have a shared responsibility to stand up against bullying and refuse to be a bystander. Thank you for joining in conversation with Manwar Khan, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, everybody.
Bye.